Hey guys, it's David. I just want to take a few minutes to talk about migraines. My history, I'm a career nurse, retired now, and I have a history of about 25 years of dealing with migraines. Um, when I first started getting those headaches, I was getting them at work, and I realized after a while that I was working 12-hour shifts, and I would leave work at like 8 o'clock at night, and I realized I was putting sunglasses on to drive home at night in the dark. And I mean, it was dark because of the light sensitivity going on. And I also had severe sound sensitivity with these migraines. So those were the two primary symptoms for me, along with tremendous amount of pain. It's raining, so I gotta shift the locations here a little bit. So anyway, that was the primary. Yeah, lots and lots of pain, of course, and then light sensitivity and sound sensitivity. So in those days, like, there wasn't like, you couldn't just hop on the computer and get unending reams of information. And I didn't really know anybody that had this condition to get information from. So to a very large extent for me, it was a whole lot of trial and error and figuring out what was what with this whole condition, and just a lot of suffering. Going to doctors, getting all kinds of medications. It was a nightmare. But one of the things that I found out early on was, part of the things they recommend treatment-wise was put an ice pack to your head. And I didn't like that. I don't like putting ice on my head. It's not a pleasant sensation for me. So I decided, I was like, well, if I could, at any rate, it just came to me one day, let me drink a icy. And when you drink a Slurpee too fast, you know how you get that brain freeze thing going on. That's exactly what you want to do with a migraine. And it has to do with the physiological aspects of the migraine. When you get the migraine, it causes the cerebral arteries to inflame or swell. So you want to reverse that swelling and inflammation in those arteries to get rid of the headache. And so that's why they say put ice on your head, because ice contracts. So my go-to treatment, as soon as I get the onset of a headache coming on, I take a dose of Tylenol, or I take a dose of ibuprofen, and I get an icy or a frosty from the hamburger joint will work as well, and eat it or drink it as fast as I can to get that brain freeze. And most of the time, for me, that will reverse it. Now, that won't work for everybody, of course, but for me, it works beautifully most of the time. And it's an immediate effect. I mean, within a minute or two of drinking that cold drink or that cold frosty, it begins to abate. So that's wonderful. If that doesn't work, then for me personally, my go-to treatment then becomes triptan medications to get rid of it, which work well for me. There's several different triptan meds out there for migraines, and your doctor can figure out which one is best for you. Narcotics aren't really a good way to go. They're addictive. Um, I think they also lend to the phenomena of rebound headaches, which becomes like a trap cycle as well. From my own experience, I think tension headaches a lot of times would lead into migraines from stress and tension, that type of thing. And there's all kinds of things we can do to deal with stress, exercise, massage, therapy, that kind of stuff. The other thing that you will learn as you go along in this is, do you have migraine triggers? And the answer is going to be yes. And you need to figure out what your migraine triggers are. For me personally, certain foods, absolutely. Any foods that have a whole lot of preservatives in them, bad news. Preservatives, chemical preservatives in the food, in heavy amounts, sometimes moderate amounts, will institute a migraine. I'll give you an example. What I learned for me is that if I'm eating pizza, I can generally eat 2 slices of pizza and be okay. Won't cause a problem. If I sit down and do like I used to do before I got migraines and I eat 4 or 5 slices of pizza, I'm almost absolutely going to get a migraine from that. Why? Because think about it. There's cheese on pizza, that's got preservatives in it. The sausage or pepperoni has preservatives. It's a lot. All the fixings on most pizzas will have a bunch of preservatives. So it's a preservative bomb. So not a surprise that it would do that. That's a great example. I love cheese too, but I found that, I can eat cheese in a small to moderate amount, but if I eat too much of it, I overdo it, that will give me a migraine. Those are the 2 big things that come to mind for me that I have to watch out for, food-wise. The other thing that I learned eventually was chemicals will induce migraines in a heartbeat. And when I say chemicals, I'm talking about stuff like just about anything in an aerosol spray can. If I'm working around somebody spray painting something, that can do it. But at work, I found there's all kinds of things at work that would do it. These air fresheners, almost all of them will put me in a migraine immediately. The generic aerosols, sanitizers like generic Lysols and that type of stuff absolutely put me in a migraine. Perfumes, colognes, all that stuff, that does it big time for me. I don't, and since I developed this condition, I don't want perfume or cologne. I mean, I can use cologne in a small amount and be okay, but what I found at work is a lot of times, and people don't mean to do it, but women will load up on perfume and they'll have it on heavy, and that'll do it. That'll do it every time. So yeah, anything with strong smell will do it. When I go into the grocery store, going down the detergent aisle, I don't even like to walk down it because it is hugely offensive for me. Just for that reason. I mean, before migraines, who cares? No issue. I used to work around chemicals at home, paints and varnishes and stuff like that all the time. It was never an issue. Now, if I work around that stuff, I'm careful and I make sure to be ventilated well. Back to the Slurpee icy thing for a second. If you like Mountain Dew, and you can get a Mountain Dew, not pushing any brands here, but you can get a Mountain Dew Slurpee or icy, do that for the migraines. It's even better. Why? Because it has the highest dosage of caffeine in it. And another thing is that a lot of the migraine medications have the added drug caffeine in it because somehow or another the caffeine helps to mitigate the migraine headaches. So the more caffeine in the icy or Slurpee, the better. And of course, Coke, Coca-Cola icy has that in there too as well. On medications such as triptans, that's a bit of a trial and error process. So, you got to work with your doctor and try different things, see what works for you. So environmental is a big thing. Do what you can do. Ask people to not use the chemicals around you. Sometimes they cooperate. A lot of times they don't, which is a shame. But they don't understand. Like I said, when you tell them, oh, you have migraines, they think, oh, you have headaches. Not the same thing. I'm sure there's other things I'm forgetting on this, but with the rain distracting me, I can't think of what it is. But anyway, trial and error. Learn what bothers you, what triggers you, what doesn't. Figure out what a solution is as far as your medication routine. Quiet, dark rooms are good. But once I figured out the icy thing and the Tylenol and the Motrin thing, immediately, as soon as you get it, don't wait to take Tylenol and drink an icy. Don't say, oh, I'll get to it in a minute, and then push it off 30 minutes because you're doing whatever at work. I made that mistake too many times. Oh, let me take care of this, whatever this patient needs or that patient needs, and I'm putting myself off until the headache gets to full-blown rage condition, and then it's like almost impossible to get rid of. And then once you got the full-blown migraine, nobody you work with cares that you have a migraine. They're not going to give you any break, any consideration. Work comes twice as hard as ever once you're in the middle of the migraine. So the key is for you prioritizing yourself. As soon as you start getting symptoms of it, take the medicine, drink the icy, do what you can do to shut it down. If you can't get an icy, get an ice cold drink, full of ice cubes, and then drink it as fast as you can drink it to get that brain freeze thing going. That's what you want to get, okay? Works for me, won't work for everybody, but give it a shot. Hopefully it works for you. God bless. Have a wonderful day.